And now in Oakland, the Unified School District, they have decided to go ahead and close up their police force. So in Oakland, the chance of you becoming a victim of a violent crime is 1 in 15. Oakland is has one of the highest criminal statistics in the United States. Does that make sense? I don't think so. That just makes no sense at all. Okay, let's look at the national average for just homicides. For murder. For murder in 1 in 100,000. The statistics nationwide is 6.1 per 100,000 a year, okay? In Oakland, it's 16.3. What about assault? Okay, good, assault. In the United States, the average of 100,000 per year, 100,000 people per year is 282 per 100,000. In Oakland, it's 543. That's right. It's more likely that you're going to be a victim of violent crime in Oakland than in the average American city. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, it's probably a small school district or something like that. Well, if you go on their website, which it's all public knowledge, if you go on their website, you'll find that there are 84 schools, if I'm counting correctly, 84, give or take one, if I counted them correctly, 84 schools in that school district. Now, I imagine if you just go back in time 1 or 2 years, you will probably find that they were asking for more officers. Because why? Because of violence, because of crime at school, because the teachers don't feel safe, because the kids don't feel safe. But now, something happened in Minneapolis, and now we're going to erase police. It doesn't even make... It's like we're living in La La Land. It's like someone is not thinking things through. But they went ahead and did it. They voted the police department out of schools. So the police are not going to be there. I don't know what that means. I don't know if the police are then just going to stay in their offices and not come around, or they're not allowed to come on the police department, on their campuses, school campuses. I don't know. I don't know what they want to do with the police department. Are they just going to go ahead and retire the whole group and they're just going to go home? I don't know. Tell the guards to leave. Tell the police officers, we don't need you anymore. Thank you very much. Here's your retirement check, and then go. And what are they doing to replace them? So we don't, just because the police officers leave, crime doesn't stop. Violence doesn't stop. People being attacked doesn't stop. Graffiti doesn't stop. We have innocent kids going to school. And just the other day we were thinking that we don't have enough magnometers at schools because we have school shootings. Oh, no. And back then we were talking about how we needed more officers at the police, at the schools. No, but not Oakland. Not Oakland, one of the cities that are the most violent cities in the United States. No, Oakland has decided that in their schools, they are just going to have social workers. Okay. We have taken this too far. The United States has allowed this uprising, this protest to go way too far. We are now seeing music bands or music groups changing their name. Why? Because of a thought that maybe perhaps they're offending somebody? That makes no sense. No, people are changing their names. People are suggesting that they remove statues or names off of schools and school buildings. Why? To appease something. I don't know what it is. We are not thinking correctly. America, wake up. The way I see it, if we continue down this path, we're going to erase everything. Just erase it all because, hey, we already found out that in the real estate world, the master bedroom is too offensive. Now we're going to take that away. So what about universities? Are we going to go ahead and cancel the master's degree program because that might be too offensive and aggressive somehow, dictating who's on top and who's below, or who's greater than and who's less than? Well, you know what? Wake up and smell the coffee. It's the way things are. If you know more, then you're going to be on a higher end. If you know less, you're going to be at a lower end. But no one is ever the same across. We have to understand that we have to realize that to be different is not to be bad. To be different is not to be less than. It's just different. We must remember our history. We must remember where we came from, or we will be doomed to relive it. We are living it right now. We were talking about, there's a comedian online who's talking about, hey, isn't this kind of like a segregation type action already? Isn't Black Lives Matter moving in such a way as to truly segregate? I mean, we saw in CHOP. I mean, CHOP, this group up in Seattle, and they sequestered 6 blocks of the Seattle city, and they decided that was going to be their little autonomous zone without police departments. And of course, when the police left, what did they do? It wasn't a summer of love. No, there was shooting, there was crime, there was assaults. No, it wasn't good. Leaving police officers was not good. And then they got upset when the police officers wouldn't come because someone was shot. Doesn't make sense. But in any case, no, even in that group, they had a special place that was only for black people. Isn't that segregation? It's like it's a different world. It's like, okay, but it's not like they were trying to keep the African Americans out from among the rest. It was sort of like we're keeping everybody out of the black zone because the black zone is better. That's pretty segregationist to me. That's pretty racist to me. Oh, my goodness. You know, the way I see it, we're going down a really dark path, America. We are losing sight of the goal. What is the goal? You know, in these times, in crisis times, it's very important to remember, what is our goal here? What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to accomplish a strong nation? Are we trying to accomplish unity? Are we trying to accomplish strong economics? Are we trying to punish people? What are we trying to do here? I think we have, at least on the larger, the more vocal minority, we have an anger and a distrust, but I think it's misguided. It's really not clear what it is that they want. And so the rest of us are just throwing these different, the different items out at them, hoping that it'll appease them. So now Aunt Jemima syrup can't be Aunt Jemima any longer. And Uncle Ben rice, we can't have that either. And master bedroom, we're going to take the master out of the bedroom. So what else do you want? What else do you want? Let's appease the loud, angry mob. Look, we can't appease the mob because the mob is always swayed by emotion. And tomorrow it's going to be something else. It's going to be something else. We cannot, America, to the decent Americans out there, I speak to you. We cannot give ourselves up to the mob. We cannot allow the mob to dictate what we're going to be doing and what we should do. That's why we have laws. That's why we have a process. That's why we have Congress. That's why we have court systems. That's why we have voting. That's why we have all of this. If you choose, America, that's why we have laws. Now, if you choose, America, if you choose to go ahead and vote and get a statue removed and get a name changed on a school or change different things, that's fine. It's because we're all choosing, because we all belong to this one body called America, and we choose together. We don't allow ourselves to be changed. We don't allow ourselves to be influenced by the minority. We're a democracy. A democracy means that we all come together and we all come up with something that is good for all of us. It is not about the small, the few vocal, and the angry that dictate what the United States is supposed to do or America is supposed to do. This is called terrorism. You know, I always found it kind of interesting that in the movies we say we don't negotiate with terrorists. And yet here we have a group of terrorists literally terrorizing the city of Seattle, literally terrorizing the city of Minneapolis and other cities. And here we are bowing down, kowtowing to their demands. It's wrong. Now, whether or not you feel as though the African American community has received a ton of punishment and inappropriate actions from the police, that is beside the point. Now, I understand their grievances, and we all have grievances. It is not a right. It is not a right for anyone to tear down a civilization because they feel like they've got the short end of the stick. No, the organization has been created specifically so that they could have a voice, so that they could decide how to change things on their own. Now, I've seen that some people correlate what's going on with the police and with these riots, the Black Lives Matter, with the same things that the United States did or that the colonists did to England. And I have to say that you guys are comparing apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. It's not the same thing. You know, what's going on with the African American voice is heard. We just had an African American president. I find it ludicrous when people say there's systematic racism. Systematic racism, where? Point to it. What part of the system is it there, hidden, that it is racist? Look at the leadership in most of these major cities. In the major cities in which there's the biggest protests, they're minority. So where's the racism? So let's go ahead and go off on the thought and the principle that there is racism, systematic racism in the background, then somehow the puppet masters placed certain people, certain minorities in these places, but only those people, and everybody else they keep down? Is that what we're trying to accept? Is that what we're trying to teach our kids? Is that what we believe? That the people in power right now, the leadership over these cities, and the leadership over these police departments, they're all placed there by other people, and they have no voice over the protection of the people that they're supposed to be protecting and guarding and keeping and leader and directing? I doubt that. That seems very woo-woo to me. But let's be honest here. The reality is there are some bad elements, there's some bad people out there trying to do bad things and taking advantage of a situation that is lamentable, it is terrible, it is horrible. And I agree. That is a horrible situation. But we're taking advantage of that, and they're trying to slap us a bill of goods that is terrible. It is destroying the things that we hold dear. And the funny thing is the media doesn't pay attention to these things. And I don't want to say that I'm bigger and smarter than all the rest, but I am watching on Facebook and on Twitter, and I'm looking on TikTok, and I'm looking on other social media and Snapchat and the rest. It's a plethora of different things. And I'm seeing more and more African American youth standing up and saying, this is not right. This is not right. We will not handle it. We will not have it any longer. And I think that is right. So the people who are vocal, who are destroying our cities, who are destroying our statues, who are destroying our history and trying to erase the good things that we've done up until today. And we can continue to do good things. And that's the issue. Let's continue to do good things. Let's not erase the good things that we've done. Let's not erase the memory or these points where we try to remind ourselves, you know what, let's not go back there. Let's go forward. Anyway, we need to be thinking in the future. Let's make things better. And these African American guys and these Hispanic people that are online are really making a difference, and I really appreciate them. They're small voices, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them, and it makes me excited when I listen to them online, when I listen to them on TikTok, and I hear their passion. That is super exciting. It's super exciting to me. It's important for all of us Americans, us decent Americans who love this country, who love one another, to stand up and say it's enough. To tell these people who are going a little crazy on the street, not a little crazy, a lot crazy, to say that's enough and let's move forward. Let's make this a better country. Every day, let's make it better than yesterday. Not by destroying, but by building. What do you think? That's the way I see it.